Now let's start the theory section of Wassce 2022 and we will begin with question 1. So question 1 has 1A and 1B embedded in it. So let's begin with 1A. The 1A is a question on geometric progression. Okay, and it says given that 7 minus 2x, 9, and 5x plus 17 are consecutive terms of a geometric progression GP with common ratio R greater than 0. We should find the values of x. So if this is a geometric progression, then we will recall from geometric progression that GP, the nth term of a geometric progression is AR raised to power n minus 1. This is the nth term. A is the first term. Okay, and R is the common ratio. And the common ratio is simply the second term divided by the first term, or the third term. Okay, or we have the third term divided by the second term. So in view of that, we can find the value of x when we use the relation between the first term and the second term, and the third term and the first term. So we understand that this is the first term, this is the second term, and this is the third term, because the question says they are consecutive terms. So let's continue with what we have here, that R is equals to T2. So T2 is equals to 9 divided by T1. Okay, T1 is equals to 7 minus 2x, and is equals to T3, that's 5x plus 17 divided by T2, and T2 is equals to 9. So with this, we can get the value of x when we cross multiply. So cross multiplying there, we'll have 81 to be equals to 5x plus 17 multiplied by 7 minus 2x. So we can choose to open the bracket with 7 minus 2x, or open the bracket with 5x plus 17, anyone. So 81, let's open the bracket with 7 minus 2x, so we have 5x plus 17 minus 2x into 5x plus 17. So simplifying further, we will have 81 is equals to 35. 17 multiplied by 7 is 119. And we open the bracket with 2x, we will have here 10x plus 10x squared minus 38 minus the 38, no, minus 34x. This should be x2. So now let's factorize and bring the common terms together, and we have this to be a quadratic equation. So let's just bring them together in terms of x squared, x, and the constant value. So we have 81 is equals to 10x squared minus, and we have 35 minus 34x, and this will give us plus x. Moving on, we'll have plus 119. So the next thing to do is to bring 81 to the left hand side. So this will become 0 minus 10x squared plus x plus 119 minus 81. So in view of that, 0 is equals to minus 10x squared plus x plus 38. Now we can multiply all through by minus 1. When we multiply all through by minus 1, so that we can make this coefficient of x squared to be equals to positive. So we'll have this to give us 10x squared minus x minus 38. Everything is equals to 0. Now we can solve this expression of quadratic formula using 3 formulas. We can choose to use the factorization method. Let me just write it out. Factorization method. We can choose to use completing the squared, and also quadratic formula. Now quadratic formula is very straightforward. We will have x to be equals to minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. Now it's interesting, so let's focus on factorization method here. And to do that, the question is, what are the two terms we'll multiply together to give us minus 380x squared, and what are the two terms we'll multiply to add together that will give us minus x? Let me repeat that. What are the two terms we will multiply together that will give us minus 380x squared, and the two terms we add together that will give us minus x? And those two terms are simply 20x and minus 20x rather, and 19x. So when we add these two together, we are left with minus x, and when we multiply these two together, we have minus 380x squared. So we go from here. We'll begin with the left hand side this time around and say 10x squared minus 20x plus 19x, okay, minus 38 is equals to 0. So in view of that, let's factorize the first two terms with 10x. So we have 10x into x minus 2 plus 19. Now we are going to factorize the remaining two terms with plus 19. So we'll have x minus 2 again. So we have x minus 2 and 10x plus 19. So it equals to 0. So in view of that, we have two off values of x. That's the two factors of x minus 2 is equals to 0, or 10x plus 19 to be equals to 0. So with that, we have two values of x. X is equals to 2 and x is equals to, let's bring this minus 19. This is 10x. Okay, 10x is equals to minus 19 and x is equals to minus 19 over 10. So these are the two values of x. X is equals to 2 and x is equals to minus 19 over 10. Divided by 10. Alright, so this is very interesting. We simply applied the common ratio formula to solve the value of x. So let's proceed further to AB. Without further ado, AB. The question says two positive numbers are in the ratio of 3 and 4. So let's call the first number x, and let's call the second number y. So the ratio of x ratio y, the ratio of x and y is 3 ratio 4. So that will be our first expression. And if this is the first number, and we call this the second number. Now, if we look at this second line of question, it says the sum of thrice the first number and twice the second is 68. So that means we are saying the sum of 3 times the first number, that's 3x, and 2 times the second number, that's 2y, is equals to 68. We should find the smaller number. So in view of that, let's begin to solve this expression. Now, to do that, we'll have to establish two simultaneous equations. That's two equations and two unknowns. The unknowns are x and y, and we are given two equations. X ratio y is equals to 3 ratio 4. But this doesn't look like an equation yet. So let's focus now on x ratio y is equals to 3 ratio 4. Now this can be written as x divided by y is equals to 3 over 4. So when we cross multiply, we will have 4x is equals to 3y. And if we put it in terms of an equation, we will have 4x minus 3y is equals to 0. So we have two equations now. We can choose to call this equation 1 and choose to call this equation 2. So let's bring them together. We have 4x minus 3y is equals to 0, and 3x plus 2y is equals to 68. Now, how do we solve this? Should we use substitution method or elimination method? I choose to go with elimination method. It's very fast. So let's eliminate y. So to eliminate y now, we'll have to multiply the expression of equation 1. Let's multiply it by 2. So we'll have minus 6 here. And we'll multiply this one by minus 3, or by 3 rather, we will have 6 here. So let's do that together. So this would result into 8x we are multiplying by 2 minus 6y is equals to 0, and this would have 9x plus 6y is equals to 24. Oh, this is 68. So 68 multiplied by 3 is 204. So now, once we have this, now we can now add the two expressions together. So let's add these two together, and adding 8 plus 9, we will have 17x. Adding 6y and minus 6y to be equals to 0, and adding 0 and 204, we will have 204. So we can find the value of x, and x is equals to 204 divided by 17, which is equals to 12. Now, if x is equals to 12, what is y? Now we can go back to equation 1 and find y. So let's just replicate from equation 1. From equation 1, we have the 4x minus 3y is equals to 0. So I can make y so to formula, and that means I will have 4x is equals to 3y, and my y will be equals to 4x divided by 3. So what is my value of x? X is equals to 12. So y is 4 multiplied by 12 divided by 3. And 4 multiplied by 12 divided by 3 will give us 16. Y is equals to 16. Now, what does the question say? It says we should find the smaller number. So the smaller number is x, which is equals to 12. Now, we have solved WAEC 2022 theory question 1. Let's proceed further to question 2. Now, in the question, we are given that y is equals to PR divided by m minus p squared r, everything raised to the power of minus 3 over 2. And the a part says we should make r the Soreto formula. So let's focus on that first before we move to b. Now, how do we make r Soreto formula? You can see there's r here and there's also r here. So let's begin. And if you notice, there is a minus 3 over 2 here. For us to eliminate this minus 3 over 2 here, let's draw this and write it again as a fraction in a more simple way. So let's write it as minus 3 over 2. For us to eliminate this, we have to multiply, or I would like to do this. If we square both sides by the factor, okay, raise both sides by the factor of 2 over 3. Okay, so if I multiply this by 2 over 3, and if I also raise this one to 2 over 3, remember what to do to the right, to do to the left, and this will nullify each other and be left with minus 1. So there's still an error there when it is being left with minus 1. So instead of minus 2 over 3 now, it should be instead of 2 over 3, it should be minus 2 over 3, so that the minus will not divide each other, and this is minus 2 over 3. So I've just shown you a way to simplify this, both including positive and negative. So after we have raised both sides to the power of, okay, let's write it, raise both sides to the power, of minus 2 over 3. So we are eliminating minus 3 over 2. So that means we'll have on the left hand side y raised to the power minus 2 over 3 to be equals to, this will be nullified. Okay, or let's just do it like this. When we raise both sides, let me duplicate this so that we'll have a good understanding. So this will be nullified to give us 1. Okay, so this will become 1, and it will simply be equals to y is equals to minus 2 over 3 to be equals to PR divided by m minus p squared r. So we are gaining movement, we are gaining progress, and what we have to do now is to factorize with r. So if we factorize this side with r, we'll be left in the bracket p over m minus p squared, and the left hand side will still remain minus y raised power minus 2 over 3. Now I want to make r solve the formula. Now to make r solve the formula, I have to divide both sides by this component. That's p minus m, p divided by m minus p squared. Now for us to do that effectively, let's have this in a fraction. That's a combined fraction with LCM of m. Once there's an LCM of m, now we will have p, and this will result into mp squared divided by what, and the left hand side will be y raised power minus 2 over 3. Now with this, I can just choose to say let us multiply both sides by m divided by p minus mp squared, and that means I'll multiply this also by m divided by p minus mp squared. Okay, that's interesting. So instead of dividing, we'll just multiply both sides. So with that, this will nullify this, and we would have r is equals to m divided by p minus mp squared multiplied by y raised power minus 2 over 3. Now this is the best way to simplify, but we can do it in a better way. So we'll have r to be equals to my raised power minus 2 over 3 divided by p minus mp squared. So this will be the expression of r being subject to formula. So now we have solved part A completely. Now let's proceed to part B. The part B says we should find the value of r when y is equals to minus 8, m is equals to 1, and p is equals to 3. So we have to find the value of y, then we'll just use the expression that we derived. So let's duplicate this, and let's duplicate. So wherever we see m, okay, we'll change it to 1. And wherever we see y, we change to minus 8, and p will be changed to 3. So m is 1 multiplied by y, which is minus 8, divided by p, which is 3, minus m, which is 1 multiplied by p squared, which is 3 squared. So now let's simplify further. The question now is, what is minus 8 raised to the power of minus 2 over 3? Minus 8 raised to the power of 2 over 3, let's do it here. Minus 8 raised to the power of minus 2 over 3 is going to give us, that means we're talking about minus 8, okay, is being squared, and we are divided it by taking the root of the third root of the answer. All right, so this is the equivalent of this, but then there will be a minus here. So the negative function of this minus will mean, according to the law of indices, 1 divided by the third root of minus 8 squared. So in view of that, we can easily simplify. So minus 8 squared is equals to 64. So this will be 1 divided by the cube root of 64, and the cube root of 64 is 4. So wherever we see minus 8 divided by, we'll have 1 over 4. So if you come back here now and make our substitution, this will be 1 multiplied by 1 over 4 divided by 3 minus 3 raised to the power of 2 is 9. So simplifying further, this will be 1 multiplied by 1 over 4 divided by minus 6, and we'll have 1 over 4 multiplied by 1 over minus 6, and we'll have our answer to give us 1 over minus 24. So the value of r is 1 over minus 24. Now let's proceed further to question number 3. The question says a chord subtends an angle of 72 degrees at the center of a circle with radius 24.5 centimeters. We should calculate the perimeter of the minor segment. Now, to fully understand this, let's take a look at circles. So let's have a circle being drawn, and excuse me, let's understand the various parts of the circle. So when we have a circle with center O, we will have a radius and we have a radius. Now if we label this AB with point O, we will understand vividly that this length AB will be the length of the arc L, and we will have a sector AOB. So we'll call this sector. Now the sector in itself has a triangle and a segment in it. So if we divide joint length AB with the chord, this will be the triangle. So we have the triangle and we will also have the segment. Now this segment here is called the minor segment, and this sector is called the minor sector. So with that, we can now call the remaining triangle here, or the remaining sector, we can call it the major sector, and it will also have, let's call this something like a major segment. So now let's go back to the triangle, to the question, and let's see what we have. Now the question is dark of a circle, so let's insert the shape again, and we are saying now that a chord, that means we have a chord, this is a chord, let's call it AB, subtends an angle of 72 degrees at the center. So if we call this center O, so at the center from A to O with radius and radius, it subtends an angle of 72 degrees. With the radius is circular radius 24.5 centimeters. So 24.5 centimeters. The question says we should find the perimeter, okay, of the minor segment. So we are looking, remember, if we go through here, we have the minor segments, because this is the minor segment. Everything here, change to red, everything from here plus the chord and the length of the arc. So this is the minor segment. So the question now says we should find the perimeter of the minor segment. So we are looking for this length and including the length, no perimeter, we are summing the length together and including the length of the arc. So how do we go about this? So we can easily evaluate the length of the arc using let L. Let me write the formula here. That length of the arc L is theta divided by 360 degrees, okay, multiplied by 2 pi r. 2 pi r, not 2 pi r squared. So if I duplicate this as we have here to this part, we can find the length of the arc AB. So instead of length L, I'll call it length of arc AB. So I'll say arc AB is equals to theta over 360 multiplied by 2 pi r. Now do we have theta? Yes, theta is equals to 72 degrees and r is equals to 24.5 centimeters. And pi, as we're given in the question, is 22 over 7. So now we can find the length of arc AB. So let's do that quickly. Arc AB is equals to theta over 360, just as we see there, multiplied by 2 pi r. Our theta is 72 degrees divided by 360 degrees. 2 multiplied by pi, 22 over 7, multiplied by r, 24.5 centimeters. So if you use your calculator for this, we will have the value of the pi of the length of arc to be equals to 30.78. 0.78 units is centimeters. Now moving on, we have found the length of this arc. Let's come back to this question now. We have found the length of the arc. We have found from here to here. The next thing is to find the length of this chord. So this is the chord and this is the arc. We have found the arc, and let's focus on the chord. Now to get this chord, now we have to do something interesting. So let's draw the diagram again. Circle. Okay, let's change it to black. Now we have, the question says a chord, let's call the chord AB, subtends an angle to the center (24.5) in radius. Now the angle is 72 degrees and we want to find the length AB. So let's draw this as red. And now to evaluate the value of AB, now we are going to introduce a perpendicular bisector. So this perpendicular bisector will divide this angle into two. So once it divides the angle into two, this will be 36 degrees and this will also be 36 degrees. And remember, it will be at right angle because it's perpendicular bisector. So now if we bring this triangle out, just a single triangle, let's use this. If we bring this triangle out, we will have the radius is 24.5, and we will have the height, which we don't need right now. We'll have the angle to be 36 degrees, and we are looking for what exactly. Now this perpendicular bisector, once it divides this angle into two, it will also divide the length of the chord. That means AB, it will be divided into two. So the length here x will also be the length here x. So we are saying that AB will be equals to 2x. Now chord AB is equals to 2x, and the same x is being represented here as x. So now with this we can find the value of chord AB, and once we know the value of chord AB, we can find the perimeter, because the perimeter of the segment will just be the sum of chord AB and arc AB. So moving on, let's evaluate the value of x. To fully evaluate the value of x, we are going to apply the principle of trigonometry of SOHCAHTOA, where sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cos is adjacent over hypotenuse, and tan is opposite over adjacent. Now looking at this triangle, now the side facing the angle is the opposite and this is the hypotenuse. Now what will relate opposite and hypotenuse together is sine. So let's apply that. So we have sine theta is equals to opposite divided by the hypotenuse. So sine theta in this case is not 72 but it's 36 degrees. So we have sine 36 degrees is equals to opposite, which is x, divided by the hypotenuse, which is 24.5. So if we cross multiply, we'll find the value of x. X is 24.5 multiplied by sine 36 degrees. So with that, once we know the value of x, if you use a calculator, the value of x will simply be 14.401 centimeters. Now if you apply the principle that's called AB is equals to 2x, now we can easily find the value of chord AB. Chord AB is equals to 2x, so that is 2 multiplied by 14.401, and this will be equals to 28.802 centimeters. Now the question says calculate the perimeter of the minor segment. The perimeter of this minor segment is simply chord AB plus arc AB. So let's write it here. Perimeter is equals to chord AB plus arc AB. Now we have found chord AB to be equals to 28.2802, and we have found arc AB to be equals to 30.78. So therefore perimeter is equals to chord AB plus arc AB. So we make our substitution. Chord AB that we evaluated was 28.802 and arc AB was 30.78, and if we sum this together we will have 59.59 centimeters. So the perimeter is equals to 59.59 centimeters. And begin. Now let's proceed further to WAEC 2023 and begin. Now let's proceed to question number 4. In question number 4, we're given a diagram, and in the diagram it's a circle BCDE, which is also a cyclic quadrilateral, and angle BCD is 2x plus 40 degrees, angle BAD is 5x minus 35 degrees, angle BED is 2y plus 10 degrees, and ABC or ADC rather is 40 degrees. Now we should find the value of x and y and also the value of angle ABC. So we are looking for this angle ABC. So to fully understand this question, let's take a quick look at circle geometry with the angles in a circle. Now if we look closely at this now, if we have a center O and we have angle projected by an arc AB, so this is the arc, we are considering arc AB. I believe you know the difference between arc AB and chord AB. We dealt with that in the last question. Now if the angle projected here is called theta, and the same angle, the same arc projects an angle to the circumference, okay, and let's call that angle alpha. Now what is the relationship between theta and alpha? The relationship is simple, such that the angle projected at center, let's write it out, angle projected at center by the arc, so let's just say angle at center, is equals to 2 times angle projected at circumference by the same arc, circumference. So how do we shorten it? Circumference. Now what we are saying in essence is this, that the angle at center is theta, so we have theta, and the angle at circumference is alpha, so theta is equals to 2 multiplied by alpha. Now this is a very interesting concept. Now this same concept, now we can also twist it a little bit. Let's come back here, and too large. Now let's tweak it a little bit, such that when we have a center now AB, and there is an angle here by this arc AB, let's call it angle theta also. Now this one that we considered was the major arc, sorry, let's say the minor arc. This is the minor arc AB. Now what about if we are considering the major arc? So we are talking about the arc AB, let's call this point C. So major arc ABC, or let's say ACB, as the case may be. Now what is the angle projected by this arc? The angle projected by the arc is going to be this angle here, that's 360 minus theta, because the sum of angles at the point is 360 degrees. Now this same arc now projects an angle to the circumference. So it projects an angle to the circumference. Let's call the angle this and this. So we can call this angle alpha, or let's just say beta. Now following the same principle, that the angle at center is equals to angle at circumference. Definitely, the angle at center for the major arc ACB is 360 degrees minus theta, and the angle at circumference is beta. So it is 2 times, okay, 2 times beta. So now we have learned about the minor arc. Okay, the minor arc is AB and the major arc ACB. Now let's apply that to this question. The question says we should find the value of x and y. Now if you look at this, we have a minor arc BCD. The minor arc BCD projects an angle to the center of 5x plus 5x minus 31. So let's do this. Let's use the blue for the minor and red for the major. So 5x minus 31. So this is minor center. So let's call it minor center. Minor center. Now this same angle, this same arc projects an angle to the circumference of this. So you project an angle to the circumference of 2y plus 10. So this will be the minor circumference. So let's just use circumference. Now in the same vein, if you notice this, now there is a major arc projection to the circumference here. So let's use the red to simplify this. So this is the major, okay, circumference, and to get the major center, all we just have to do is to have 360 minus 5x minus 35 degrees. So this is going to give us the major, okay, major center. So major arc center, minor arc center, major arc circumference, minor arc circumference. So with that, let's apply this and then we'll simplify further to find the value of x and y. So let's begin with the minor. So minor arc. The minor arc says the angle at center, that's the minor arc at center, is equals to 2 times angle at circumference. Circumference. So now the center is 5x minus 35 and the circumference is 2y plus 10. So let's apply that. So we have 5x minus 35 is equals to 2 multiplied by 2y plus 10. So let's simplify this further. So we have 5x minus 35 is equals to 4y plus 20. Then if you bring them together, so we have 5x minus 4y is equals to 20. Bring this to the right hand side, plus 35. So we have 5x minus 4y is equals to 55. We can call this equation 1. Now, just as we have done for the minor arc, let's do for the major arc. So focusing on the major arc now. Major arc. Major arc is also in such a way that the angle at center for the major arc is equals to 2 times angle at circumference. So for the major now, the center angle is 360 minus 5x, okay, minus 35, and the circumference is 2x plus 40. So we have 360. Remember, because the sum of angles at the point is 360 degrees. So we have 360 minus 5x minus 35 and is equals to 2 multiplied by 2x plus 40 degrees. So in view of this, we can easily find the value of x in this expression. So if we open the brackets, 360 minus 5x plus 35 is equals to 4x plus 40. So we can say 360 minus 5x, okay, or let's just bring everything of x together. Or how do you want us to solve this? So 360 plus 35 is 395. Okay, so let's do 395 minus 5x is equals to 4x plus 40. So let's bring everything of x to the left hand side. So we'll have 5x minus 4x is equals to 40 minus 395. So with this, we'll have minus 9x is equals to 315, and we will have x to be equals to minus 315 divided by 9, minus 9. So x is equals to 35. So degrees, that's the units. Now if x is equals to 35 degrees, what is the value of y? So we'll come to the minor arc section, and then we'll just substitute x to be equals to 35 degrees. So wherever we see x, we put 35 degrees minus 4y is equals to 55. So 5 multiplied by 35. Okay, so or just make y full time, sorry, to formula. So we have, or let's just simply do it together. 5 multiplied by 35 is 175 minus 4y is equals to 55. So I bring 175 to the right hand side. So we have minus 4y is equals to 55 minus 175. And I will have minus 4y to be equals to minus 120. And I will have y to be equals to minus 120 divided by 4. And y is equals to 30 degrees. Now we have found the value of x and y. Y is equals to 30 degrees and x is equals to 35 degrees. That is question A. And everything came from the understanding of the principle of angle at center is equals to 2 times angle at circumference. Now let's move on to the second question, B. B says we should find the angle ABC. That means we are looking for this angle. So let's use another ink. So we are looking for this angle. How do we find this angle? If you look closely to this now, to get this angle, we have to consider the quadrilateral A, okay, A, B, C, and D. So if you consider this quadrilateral now, we will know that the sum of angles in a quadrilateral is equals to 360 degrees. So in view of that, let us now consider this and simplify further. So we are saying that 5x minus 35 degrees plus 40 degrees plus 2x plus 40 plus, let's call this angle, let's call it A, plus A is equals to 360 degrees. So let's simplify that. So we are considering, let's look at the question now. We are considering quadrilateral ABCD, and we are considering that we are saying that the angle at A, that's 5x minus 35 degrees, okay, plus the angle at B, which we called A, plus the angle at C, which is 2x plus 40 degrees, plus the angle at D, which is 40 degrees. Everything is equals to 330 degrees, 360 degrees. So let's simplify further, and we'll bring the x together. We substitute the value of x to be equals to 35 degrees. So let's begin. So let's open the brackets. We have 5x squared, sorry, 5x so with this we have 5x, which is 35 degrees, minus 35 degrees plus A plus 2 into 35 degrees plus 40 degrees is equals to 360 degrees. So in view of this, 5 multiplied by 35 degrees is 175 minus 35 degrees plus A, 2 multiplied by 35 is 70 degrees plus 40 degrees plus 40 degrees, and everything is equals to 360 degrees. So simplifying 175 minus 35 plus 70 plus 40 plus 40, this will result into 240 degrees is equals to 360 degrees. So A will be equals to 360 degrees minus 240 degrees, and A is equals to 70 degrees. Now we are saying that the angle ABC is equals to, this is angle ABC is equals to A, which is equals to 70 degrees. So this is for question B, and this is for question A. Now 5 asks question A and B, so let's begin with A. The A says given that M is equals to tan 30 degrees and N is equals to tan 45 degrees, we should simplify without using table the value of M minus N divided by Mn, and we should leave the answer in the form of P plus root Q. Now this is a question that involves sorts and special angles of trigonometry. Now if we go back to our lesson on trigonometry, we learned about special angles, where we know that sine 30 degrees, let's use blue, sine 30 degrees is equals to cos 60 degrees, which is equals to 1 over 2. Similarly, sine 60 degrees is equals to cos 30 degrees, which is equals to root 3 over 2. In the same vein, we established that tan 30 degrees is equals to 1 over root 3, and in short expression, we don't leave this as roots at the denominator. So when we rationalize, that means when we multiply the numerator and denominator by root 3, we will have root 3 divided by 3. And the same thing applies for tan 45 degrees, because tan 45 degrees is 1 over root 2. So when we multiply the numerator and denominator by root 2, however, tan 45 degrees is equals to 1. Is tan 45 degrees is equals to 1. Now let's apply this concept now of tan 30 degrees and tan 45 degrees. So we'll go from the question to the answer. So we're looking for M minus N divided by Mn. M is equals to tan 30 degrees and N is equals to tan 45 degrees. So we have it divided by tan 30 multiplied by tan 45 degrees. So we'll just make our substitution of tan 30 and tan 45. Tan 30 is equals to root 3 over 3, just as we have here, and tan 45 is equals to 1. So we have also root 3 over 3 multiplied by 1. And remember, we are putting it in the form of P plus root Q. And let's remember the forms, the laws of sorts, or the rules of sorts. That says root A over root B is equals to root A divided by root B. Similarly, root AB is equals to root A multiplied by root B. So let's move further and then apply this principle to this question. So let's duplicate this and we'll focus on it. So on the numerator side now, we'll have to find the LCM. So the LCM here will be equals to 3. Okay, and this will result into root 3. Okay, root 3 minus 3, because this is just 1, so 3 divided by 3 is equals to 1. In the same vein, when we multiply these out according to numerator and denominator, we will have root 3 as the numerator and 3 as the denominator. So we can proceed further and just rewrite this pattern and say it is root 3 minus 3 divided by 3 being divided by root 3 over 3. Now we can change the division sign to multiplication, and we'll have root 3 minus 3 divided by 3 multiplied by 3 divided by root 3. So 3 will nullify 3 and we are left with root 3 minus 3 divided by root 3. Now this brings us back to the principle of rationalization, just as we did here, where we do have root 3 at the denominator. We multiply the numerator and denominator by root 3. So now let's apply that now. So we'll multiply numerator by root 3 and multiply denominator also by root 3, so as to eliminate roots at the denominator. So this will give us root 3 multiplied by root 3 minus 3, and we'll have the denominator to give us root 3 minus root 3. Now this is where the rule of sorts take place. So the rule of sorts, just as we have here, is states that root a divided by root b is equals to root a over root b, and root ab is equals to root a multiplied by b. So applying that now, this will result into, let's open the brackets, root 3 multiplied by root 3 minus 3 root 3 divided by root 3 multiplied by root 3. Now what is root 3 multiplied by root 3? Let's come back here and let's just make our substitution. Root 3 multiplied by root 3. So a is equals to 3 and b is equals to 3. So this will give us 3 multiplied by 3. 3 multiplied by 3 is equals to root 9, and root 9 is equals to 3. So wherever we see 3 multiplied by root 3 multiplied by root 3, we'll just substitute our value of 3. So we'll have 3 minus 3 root 3 divided by 3. Now, if you go back to the question, it says we should leave the answer in the form of p plus root q. So to do that, let's just divide both sides by, divide all through by 3. So you have 3 minus 3 divided by 3 root 3 divided by 3. And this will give us 1. Let's write in red. So final answer, 1 minus 3. 1 minus root 3 rather. So we are writing it in the form of p minus root q plus root q. So in this case, p is equals to 1 and q, this is q, and q is equals to 3. So with that, we have solved for the a parts. We just substituted values of tan 30 degrees to be equals to root 3 over 3 and tan 45 degrees to be equals to 1. Now let's move further to the b part of question 5b. The question is a question on probability. Now the question says there are 20 women in a bus, so the total women on the bus is 20. The number of people that wear glasses is equals to 15. And moving further, the question also says that 10 wear wristwatch. So the people that wear wristwatches, let's just say wristwatches is equals to 10. Now, if a woman is chosen at random, find the probability that she wears glasses and wristwatch. How do we do this? Now the probability of wearing glasses is an event on its own, and the probability of wearing a wristwatch is also an event on its own. So to do this, we recall on the laws of probability. That's the probability of an event, okay, we have PA, and the probability of another event, PB. Now the probability that both events are happening at the same time, that's and, will be the probability of A multiplied by the probability of B. Similarly, the probability that both events can occur simultaneously at different times is equals to the probability of A plus the probability of B. Now the probability that the woman chosen at random, okay, the woman chosen at random wears both, okay, glasses, okay, and wristwatch. Let's just write RIST, let's just write it complete, and wristwatch will be the probability of glasses multiplied by, because we're applying this principle, multiplied by the probability of wristwatch. Please, we have to understand vividly that this and means A and D. Now, what is the probability that a woman wears glasses? The probability of glasses is the number of glasses divided by total. That is 15 divided by 20. And the probability of wristwatch is wristwatch divided by total. That's 10 divided by 20. So this will have 15 divided by 20 multiplied by 10. 10 divided by 20. So simplifying this, 15 divided by 20 is 3 over 4. 10 divided by 20 is 1 over 2. And when we multiply this out, we will have 3 over 8. So the probability that a woman chosen at random from the bus wears both glasses and wristwatch is 3 over 8. So we have solved for 5b, and if you recall, we solved for 5a also. Let's proceed on to the next question. Now let's proceed further to question number 7. This question is based on selling price, cost price, profit loss, percentage profit, and percentage loss. So just as we did in our objective section, let's write out all the formulas we need. We'll talk about the profit. We'll also talk about the loss. We'll talk about the percentage profit and also the percentage loss. And also the percentage loss. Now, profit occurs when the selling price is greater than the cost price. So we have profit to be equal to selling price minus cost price, and loss occurs when the cost price is greater than the selling price. So cost price minus selling price. Now, in the same vein, percentage profit is equals to profit divided by the original price we bought the product. That's the cost price multiplied by 100%. And in the same vein, percentage loss is equals to loss divided by the original price, cost price, multiplied by 100%. So we're going to apply these 4 formulas to the principles, to the questions. So let's begin with question A. The question says, a man purchased 180 copies of a book at 250 naira each. Okay, so question A says there is a man, he purchased a total of 180 copies and he purchased it at the rate of 250 naira each. Now, in this case, that means we are saying that the cost price, the price that he bought it, is equals to 150 copies multiplied by 250 naira, and that is equals to 45,000 naira. Now, in the same vein, he moved further and then he sold. Now he sold Y copies, okay, at 300 naira each, and thereafter he sold the rest. Now he sold it at 2 different prices. He sold the rest, okay, the rest at 5 kobo at a discount. Okay, so there's a discount of 5 kobo, 5 kobo discounts in the naira of the cost price. So that means you are saying that 5 kobo discounts in the naira of the cost price. So 5 kobo discounts from cost price. So 5 kobo discounts simply means that 0.05 naira. So from cost price, so that's me, I'm saying 5 kobo less from cost price. So the cost price is 250 naira. Okay, so the cost price, which is 250 naira, so we are saying that is selling it at 250 minus 0.05. So he sold the remaining at 249.95 naira. So now let's understand what we have written out so far. So he bought a total of 180 copies at the rate of 250 naira each. So he sold them, that means he bought them at 45,000 in total. Now he sold, now let's deal with the selling price now. He sold Y copies at 300 naira each. So the selling price will be equals to 300 multiplied by Y. That's the first. Now then he sold the rest. So if we bought 150 copies, the rest will be equals to 180 minus y. Okay, because they already sold y already. So now he sold the rest at 249.95 naira, because that's 5 kobo discount from the cost price. So selling it at that rate now, that means we'll have plus 180 minus y multiplied by 249.95. So now we have an expression for our cost price. So let's open up the brackets. So this will give us 300y. If you open the brackets here, we will have 180 multiplied by 249.95, and that will give us 449.91 minus 249.95y. So this is the expression of the selling price. So if we simplify it further, we will have that the selling price is equals to 300 minus 249.95. Remember, this is 300 minus 249.95 is going to give us 50.50 y plus 44991. So we have the selling price to be this, and we have the cost price to be this. So let's mark the important parts that we have established: selling price and cost price and selling price. Now, if we move further to the next line of the question, it says if he made a profit of 7,125 naira. So he made a profit. Okay, P, that means we're saying P is equals to 7,125 naira. We should find the value of y. So how do we find the value of y? We find the value of y by using this formula of profit, that profit is equals to selling price minus cost price. So let's just use this same page. Profit is equals to selling price minus cost price. The profit in the question is 7,125 naira, 7125. 7125, and the selling price in the question has the equation of 50 points. Okay, let's just duplicate these. 50.50y, okay, plus 449.91, 44991, and we want to subtract it from the cost price, and we can see that the cost price is 45,000. So we are subtracting this from 45,000. Now let's find the value of y, which is what the question demands us. So looking for the value of y now, we can just open the bracket completely. So we have 7125 is equals to 50.50y plus 44991 minus 45,000. So let's bring y to the left hand side or y to the right hand side just to solve this. So I'll prefer that we move all this to the left hand side so that the y will remain on the right hand side. So 7125, we will have it to be subtracted from we are subtracting 44991 and we are adding 45,000, and we are equating it to 50.50y. So in view of this, the left hand side will be left with 7134 is equals to 50.5y, then y will be equals to 7134 divided by 50.5, and it will be equals to 141.27. Now we can approximate this to give us 141. So we have the value of y to be equals to 141. So now we can see how simple it is. We move from the expression of cost price to the expression of selling price, and we applied the formula of profit to be selling price minus cost price. Now let's proceed further to the B aspect of this question. B aspect. Now, just as we did in the A, we wrote the value of the cost, we wrote the value of the of the selling price, and then we found the expression. Now this B is quite simple. It says a trader bought X bag of rice at cost. So that means we have the cost price CP to be equals to 24x plus 103, and he sold them at a price. So now we have an expression for the selling price. He sold them at the price of P of selling price is equals to 33x, okay, minus x squared divided by 20. The first question says we should find the expression for the profit. So we should look for the expression of profit. What is the formula for profit? Let's begin from there. If we go back to our indices of formulas, profit is equal to selling price minus cost price. So let's apply it here. Profit is equal to selling price minus cost price. So selling price is equals to this. Remember, it's 20, not Z0, divided by 20. I don't know what's happening. 20. So selling price is 33x minus x squared divided by 20, and cost price is 24x plus 103. 24x plus 103. So simple as ABC, this is going to be like a quadratic equation. So let's open the bracket completely. So we'll have 33x minus excuse me, x squared divided by 20 minus 24x minus 103. So x squared divided by 20 will be the first term, minus x squared divided by 20, and 33x minus 24x is 9x. So this will be plus 9x, and we'll have this to give us minus 103. So we have found the expression of the profit as minus x squared plus 9x minus 103. Now let's move further to the next part of the question. That's II. It says find, okay, we have found the expression for profit. II now says if 20 bags of rice were sold, we should find the percentage profit. If 20 bags were sold, we should find the percentage profit. That means x is equals to 20. Now the percentage profit has this formula of P divided by cost price multiplied by 100%. So let's write that out first. We should find the percentage profit of P divided by cost price multiplied by 100%. Now we have an expression for cost price to be this. So let's duplicate. And in the same vein, we have our expression of cost price. This has our expression of profits. We can also have our expression of cost price to be this. So all we just have to do now is to find the values, given that x, okay, is sold x bags, 20 bags, so x is equals to 20. So let's make our substitution. So wherever we see x, we substitute 20. So we'll have minus 20 squared divided by 20 plus 9 into 20 minus 103. So the profit will be simple as saying that it is equals to minus 20 divided by 20. We will have minus 20 plus 9 divided by 20 plus 9 multiplied by 20 is 180 minus 103, and this will be equals to 57. There's no units given, so we'll just say 57. Now in the same vein, what is the cost price? Cost price when x is equals to 20 is 24 of 20 plus 103. So 24 into 20 plus 103 will give us 583. So all we just have to do now is to apply the formula of percentage profits. percentage profit is equals to profit divided by cost price multiplied by 100%. We have our profits to be 57. We have our cost price to be 583, and we're multiplying it by 100%. So simple as ABC. If we use our calculator to simplify this, we will have 9.777 degrees percentage. So if you simplify this, we'll have 9.78%, which is the percentage profit. So we can see the interesting movement we did. Found the expression of profits as selling price minus cost price, and when x is equals to 20, we found the percentage profit by finding the value of profit to be equals to 57, finding the value of cost price to be equals to 583, and imputing the values into the formula for percentage profit, and we'll have 9.78%. Let's move on to the next question.